Well, thanks very much, Mr. Prabhu. Let's talk about the financial situation. 8.5 lakh crore rupees, that's what you've articulated over the 5-year period. 4 lakh crore rupees towards expanding and decongesting the network, which is a key priority area for you. That amounts to $138 billion over the next 5 years. Particularly for this year, the railway capex is up 52% to over 1 lakh crore rupees. You're now talking about budgetary support of 40,000 crore rupees. You've, of course, talked about market borrowing, you've talked about infrastructure bonds, you've talked about tying up with people like the LIC, where you've signed up an MOU worth 1.5 lakh crore rupees over the next 5 years. Adequate funding in place now?
Absolutely. In fact, you're absolutely right in asking this question, because this is unprecedented that we are thinking of making such huge investments into the railways. The question is, before I answer you how are you going to raise it, is whether we need it or not. See, what is important is first to answer a question, whether do I need this investment railways, or can railways live without an investment? We have actually avoided this difficult question for too long, because we kept postponing these investment decisions for too long a period. Now, if you look at it, many of us delays in the railways, the punctuality which has suffered, the accidents which happen, the time it takes, the speed has gone down.
Sure.
The goods train have no timetable. The amount of money that we lose is all because of scale of operations,
sure,
because they are not invested adequately into this. So investment is needed. Then the question that obviously follows is, where do you get the money from?
Yes.
So traditionally, railways have been relying on Ministry of Finance,
sure,
to give gross budgetary support. You must understand that Ministry of Finance is also under the serious strain.
Right.
We are given almost more than half of the money to the states now. So therefore, the centre's ability to put in money into some interesting project is also a little bit under stress. In such situation, I must ask from Finance Ministry, but must realize their limitation. Again, the Ministry of Finance is also borrowing in the market.
Sure.
So what we thought was, we'll rely on Ministry of Finance support for sure, but will not restrict our investment only based on the amount of money that we get from them.
Absolutely.
So we go beyond it. Now, having done that, then we have to find our money outside. So first we increase the size of the plan, and then now I am very happy to say that at least for the next few years, we have enough money available with us. LIC, for example, 30 years maturity period, 5 years moratorium. World Bank, multilateral agencies like them, like ADB, even private financing arm like IFC, and others are more than willing to give us.
But how much are they willing to commit, or have they committed?
No, they will give, I don't know, we are actually very advanced stage of negotiation, but we'll definitely be able to reach that amount. I will tell you, even if you take 50,000, 60,000 crores a year, which Ministry of Finance will keep giving us, that gives us 3 lakh of crores. 1,50,000 crores already come from the LIC. 1,50,000 crore, about that we have kept it for station development, which is in fact completely private sector oriented. So we don't have to take into consideration about that. In tax-free bonds, which Finance Minister has talked about in the railway budget, in his budget, so that is again available to us. Then he has talked about.
Are you going to exercise that mean just yet, or do you believe that you don't need to?
Absolutely, no. I'm just telling you about the amount of money that we need and how we are going to raise it. Then, of course, the infrastructure investment fund that Finance Minister talked about to create 20,000 crores our own money contribution, leveraged 10 times by overseas funds like BlackRock and others. So that gives us 2 lakh crores. So maybe half of that we can draw from it. So you can imagine the money is available. What is important is why this is necessary. One, I told you that we could have deferred this decision. Once we make this investment, the scale of operation will go up. We have talked about in the next 5 years, 1 billion tons of cargo to be taken to 1.5 billion tons of cargo.
Right.
Of course, that depends largely upon the dedicated freight corridor coming in. We have already told them strict deadlines, 3 years period, they must complete it. And actually, we are also trying to work out if there are some early completion of contracts, we could think about some incentivizing them. And I said dedicated freight corridor means first dedicate yourself to the freight corridor. So that's what I told my people there. So if you do this, 1.5 billion tons of cargo, if you start handling with more or less this type of you look at the profitability of railways. Because as you know, more than 50% is salaries, 20-25%. All of that probably will.
So you're saying money is not a challenge. Do you then need to look for pension funds, because that was something that you had articulated? Do you need to talk to sovereign wealth funds? Again, something that you had articulated. The Qataris, I understand, are interested.
That's right. They are also keen. I'm not ruling out anything. What I'm saying is this is very clearly a financial cost. We have kept option open. So firstly, why I'm talking about this money is available. That means now at least we are sure that we can make that investment. I had to give a clear signal to my team here that okay, you have the money available, now plan it. See, that was a problem earlier, that they said, why do you plan? What is the point of preparing such detailed project reports? Because nothing is available, no money is there. Now they are very sure about it.
So you're saying that the cycle of underinvesting in the Indian Railways, that story hopefully is now behind us.
I hope so.
It's hopefully behind us. Let me then talk to you in terms of your ability to be able to execute on the ground, because that is a big question mark at this point in time.
Very good question again.
You sanctioned 77 projects. The aim is 9,400 kilometers of doubling, tripling, quadrupling of lines as well as electrification. This is the promise that you've made. Are you going to be able to achieve these targets?
I think so. Let me tell you how I'm doing it. So let us wait for the results. But I'll tell you what we are doing is, first of all, whatever we have said in the railway budget, each of that point is under implementation. In fact, yesterday we had a meeting with all the people about each and every small little statement that has been made in the railway budget, how we are going to implement it, responsibility has been put. We are now prepared a software, so each of these programs will be monitored. Each person who is supposed to implement it is going to update it constantly. Every 15 days there will be an update. Now, these particular projects will not be completely, all of them may not be completed in 1 year, but all these projects, because they have a life, maybe 2 years, some will take 3 years, some may happen in 6 months. Like for example, looping, etc., might happen a little sooner. But we'll definitely try to complete it in the 3 years period, all of these projects. But next year we'll start more. But these projects, how are we going to implement it is there for this overall implementation. We are asking the public sector undertakings like IRCON, like Konkan Railway and others to also implement project with us. Each of the zonal railway, they are going to implement it. For them to implement it in a faster way, we already delegated powers to them. Now we are also thinking of delegating powers of estimates to them. So therefore they will be empowered. They will have incentive. I'm struggling with an idea to be implemented. It can be incentivize them. If suppose you implement a project well in time, can we not give them a small incentive?
What kind of incentive are you talking about?
Maybe say 1% of the cost of project, something we need to work out. Why I'm saying this, if there's an overrun of 200-300%, there is no penalty.
Right.
Okay. But at least if you implement in time, why not incentivize them? So something like that, I'm still thinking of doing it. I don't know how we can make it happen in the system that we have, but still we are working on it.
So you're saying that the sanctioned projects will be executed within the timelines that you've set out?
Not necessarily all of them in a year's time, but in the time frame, definitely.
Okay. Since you were talking about freight, let me also ask you about what you'd articulated in terms of being able to partner with the likes of SAIL and Coal India as far as freight infrastructure is concerned. Where do things currently stand on that? And that is going to be a key piece as far as you're being able to go from 1 billion to 1.5 billion tons.
Very good. Two strategies on that. One is with our customers, we are trying to make partnership. So Coal India, for example, will make partnership and hopefully we'll sign it on the 1st of April. Not an April Fool Day, a real one. So I think not a good day to sign anyway. But we are going to sign it on the 1st of April.
What will this entail, this partnership?
Coal Ministry will give us the money.
Okay.
Already NTPC is giving us some money. We'll use that money to put up a line. So they get the ability to evacuate. We get the money because we'll transport from the same network. So their money will help us to increase our revenue without putting our capital expenditure.
Okay.
So it's a very win-win model. So this is one set of...
What kind of money are you talking about, sir?
I think that just wait for a few days we'll put it, but good amount of money. And then money is not a problem. If you want to put more lines, they can give more money to us. This is one model that we want to do with all the major customers, coal, cement, steel, oil, everybody. Second one is with the states. I was in Haryana. Haryana Chief Minister met me. We are implementing that idea immediately. Punjab. I was in Punjab 3 days ago. On the 6th again we are having another meeting with the Chief Minister of Punjab. In Andhra Pradesh, Chandrababu Naidu. So we are implementing Maharashtra. In fact, we have to decide a date. So that is another set of partnership. Just I'll tell you the advantage of this. You asked me about the implementation. What happens is, if you have SPVs with 15-20 states like this, one is that we can now have capital. Our capital, their capital, and then we can borrow against that. We can leverage it. We can leverage it because it's a company, unlike railways which has the inability to leverage it as a government department. But there we can leverage it. More importantly, the implementation bandwidth increases because it's a new entity which is going to have an ability to implement project on a much faster basis with little more flexibility than a normal, typically government organization like us.
And there's a greater sense of ownership as well.
Yeah. And therefore, this is another great advantage is, so we have this SPV with customers, SPVs with the state government, and also some other SPVs with port connectivity.
Okay.
If you want to really come out with a major customer of ours, who is not necessarily government customer, but he wants to say that, okay, ports, we have put up a private port or a public port, please give us a connectivity. We'll do that with him. So the advantage is capital is there, partly, if not fully.
Sure.
Like in case of coal, it may be full. Money with states, maybe we'll share the equity. But the ability to implement get faster. Again, because so many projects get held up because of land, because of local permission not available, local law not a problem. If state is a partner with us,
so you're going to be able to tide over those issues. Let me ask you about some of the other promises that you made. The station redevelopment plan that you'd actually articulated in your budget. When do we see you move forward on that? Because that is something that the private sector is watching out for very carefully.
In the next few months, Cabinet approves very soon, then we'll actually put it out. The idea is like this, that if you want to develop a particular station, the local authorities, and we can again use the same SPV with the states, see, that's a great advantage. If, say, Maharashtra, Mumbai, we want to develop a station, Maharashtra government is a partner, the local Mumbai Municipal Corporation also has a small stake in it, they will allow the permissions to come very fast because they have a stake in that. So we can even use that one. Secondly, in any case, what we are doing is all of this will be available in a public domain. Anybody can come and start developing that project with giving design, etc. We'll actually
But when do you start bidding these out, for instance? When will you start bidding these projects out?
I think bidding itself might take a little longer period. But I think in the next few months, we'll definitely be coming out with all guidelines that are necessary.
So well within this calendar year?
Definitely, 100%.